Good morning, everyone. This is Karl F. Rose recording live from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Monday, November 16th, 2020. And before we get into everything, let me get on my music. Okay, now let me get into my disclaimer. Okay, if you're 13 years old or younger, please leave this podcast now. These podcasts are not directed for child or child content or anything like that. So if you're 13 years older, please leave now, or younger, please leave now. Okay, good morning, everyone. Again, this is Karl F. Rose recording live from Bedford, Pennsylvania on Monday, November 16th, 2020. Can't talk today. That's pretty bad on a podcast. You need to be able to talk. Anyway, let's get into this. I want to discuss the possibilities here, and I'm going to be doing a YouTube video with some later on this to expand on this and the possibilities that actually nobody's even discussing. But I'll get into that in a little bit. But the first thing, what I want to talk about is the title of the podcast here. Donald Trump being the last elected U.S. president. And basically what we have going on here is a communist takeover of the United States. It may happen this time, or it may be delayed 4 years, depending on how the results go. First of all, here's my view on how this is playing out here. And Donald Trump was really smart by he had every right to put these legal challenges in the states. But the thing is, by December 14th, all states must certify the next United States president. Well, there's a big snag for Joe Biden in all this, because if these 5 states, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Arizona, if they are all tied up in legal battles, that means, as it stands now, which it looks like it will be, that means neither candidate has 270 electoral votes, because those ones will not be certified yet. Donald Trump did this on purpose, and he was very smart doing that. Now what happens in that sense, and this is totally within the Constitution. This is how it's written in the Constitution. Remember, and throughout all my schooling, from grade school to college, my grade point average in U.S. history, especially with presidents, a 4.0 average. So I think I know what I'm talking about. Took political science in college. My grades was about a 3.8, something like that, GPA with all that stuff. So that's besides the point. Needless to say, I've studied this kind of stuff for many, many years, starting in the 5th grade. So I know what I'm talking about. I don't mean to brag. I'm just stating what it is. So, but the thing is, if it goes to the House of Representatives and all this stuff, the left-wing lunatics are going to complain to say, oh, this is stolen, this is stolen. No, this is going directly by the book, exactly how it should go in case of a contested election like this. And there needs to be election and voting reform done immediately. Whoever's, and don't expect it if Biden's put into office, because there's just going to be more corruption. But if somehow things work out, and it works out with Trump being in for a second term, then what he needs to do, one of the first things in Donald Trump's second term, very first thing, election voting reform. If we have to do it like the way the third world countries do it, with you put your thumbprint in the indelible ink, stamp it, and then there's like a number, a code, and when you sign your name in, you have the line where you sign your name in, there's like a number, and then you have your ballot number. So you match the ballot number to the fingerprint, and that verifies that the actual person made that vote. If the thumbprints don't match, that vote does not count. And there must be one Democrat and one, actually, and I would say three people, a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent. So let's put in the independents there. Have them all standing right by the people who are counting and make sure it's done right. If we have to do it that way, like third world countries, then so be it. Because that will get rid of the fraud. That will verify that that actual person who's actually living made the vote and not their dog. And I wouldn't be surprised if Elizabeth Warren actually submitted a ballot with her dog's name on it for Biden, because she made a joke about it. And as far as I'm concerned, they're so far out in left field that I wouldn't be surprised if she actually did that and got away with it, for now, anyway. Anyway, so let's get on to the House of Representatives and talk about the legal way that this can happen, because this is how the Constitution was written. Remember, there was no TV, there was no media or anything. In the Constitution, it clearly states that if there is no winner, no outright winner, nobody gets the winning number of electoral votes. This is why we have the Electoral College. This is the reason why it's good. If there's no clear winner, then the vote for the president is done by the legislature in the House of Representatives. And here's how it stands right now with all 50 states. There are 31 states that are Republican, 19 states that are Democrat. So each state gets one. And even Nancy Pelosi said this election would probably come down to the House, and she's trying to do whatever to her way. Donald Trump has made speeches, and he said it's more than likely going to head to the House. So it goes to the House, and each state gets one representative and one vote. So providing that there's no Republican defectors, and you cannot count on certain Republicans, because it's why I'm a libertarian now. My trust for the Republican Party has went down the drain. And you can thank John McCain for that one, and actually Mitt Romney. Neither of them were actual Republicans. But that's for another story. Anyway, so how it works is this. For the office of the president in the House, okay, so let's say there's all 31 Republican representatives from the legislature. They put their one vote for Donald Trump, then the other 19 for Joe Biden. Trump wins the presidency. Now, here's the snag, and I know there's been a split president and vice president in the past. I'm going to do a video on that. I forget which one. I think it was more than one. Shame on me for not knowing that with my GPA. I should actually know that off the top of my head. But I'm going to do a YouTube video. I'm going to do all that, and I'll explain. That's for another video. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to explain how it's done in a YouTube video on my YouTube channel. So anyway, so now the House of Representatives, that votes for the president. The Senate, now, on the other hand, votes for the vice president. Here's where things get tricky. Okay, now, we know the Senate is controlled by the Republicans, but you cannot trust the Republican senators, as I just said a second ago. So the Senate votes for the vice president. And so what could happen here? And there's a lot of defecting Republicans. Actually, I call them more Democrats. So they elect the vice president. We could possibly see a situation where the House of Representatives puts in Trump, the Senate puts in Kamala Harris as vice president. This could be an absolute nightmare. God forbid, because they always say the vice president is one heartbeat away. That would be a big win for the Democrats, even though Trump holds, because God forbid something happens to him, uh, assassination, or he dies, then bingo, we have a President Kamala Harris. And that is the worst possible scenario. And I would not be surprised if this is what the outcome's going to be. President Trump with a Vice President Kamala Harris, because the Democrats would succeed in getting Mike Pence out of the way, because Mike Pence is an awesome vice president. And then they're just one step closer away. So that's a very real possibility, and I haven't heard any channel talking about that. Like I said, I will be doing a specific news breaking YouTube video in a few days on that. I want to research which elections and which presidency had a split party, president and vice president. And trust me, there were ugly administrations. Nothing got done, and that's exactly what would happen in Trump's second term if it comes down to that. And I really think that's what's going to happen, and it won't be very good. Anyway, well, if you like these videos, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, with this podcast going straight to my YouTube, Karl's Corner Podcast. Also, be sure to go over to my main channel, Karl Rose, Karlrose. Go to that channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification. Also, I have my cat channel, All About Job. Be sure to go to that channel too, hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, and I will keep you posted. There's more to come on this subject, and I'm going to be digging in, doing the research, and we will end on that. Let me put my music on. Okay, with that said, have a good week, and we will talk to you next time.